every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News, broadcasting live from our Lagos studio. I am Abosede Omowi, and here are our top stories tonight. Many thanks for joining us. Now to details of the news. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, says there is no big deal in Nigeria being a member of the Islamic coalition against terrorism put together by Saudi Arabia. He says it was wrong to accuse the government of giving Nigeria an Islamic identity with the decision to be a member of the coalition.
So we are
Onyema gave the
supporting
clarification in an interview with State House correspondent shortly after he met President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa, Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari had, in an interview he granted to Al Jazeera during his recent visit to Doha, Qatar, confirmed Nigeria's membership of the coalition, further fueling speculations of alleged plans to Islamize the country.
So we are supporting every move to achieve this, to disabuse people's minds that somehow these terrorists are speaking in the name of Islam or are Islamic, or that there's anything about Islamic teaching that somehow condones.
In other reports, South African President Jacob Zuma has arrived Abuja ahead of his state visit, which will begin on Tuesday. The South African president arrived with 6 ministers and a huge business delegation, including the Minister of Trades and Industry, Rob Davies, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Maite Nkwana Mashabane, Minister of Energy, Tina Jomat Peterson, Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, Nosiviwe Mapisa Nkakula, among others. During the visit, he is expected to address a joint session of Nigeria's National Assembly, as well as address the South Africa Business Forum with President Muhammadu Buhari. Talks are expected to center on both countries' bilateral relations and probably the fine on MTN communications by Nigeria, as well as Nigeria's arms money seizures by South Africa. Now, the Islamic movement in Nigeria is yet to file its case at the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into the clashes between the Shiites and the Nigerian army. The lead counsel to the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Festus Okoye, says the movement cannot file in its memorandum as its team of lawyers is yet to meet with the leader of the group, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zazaki, for effective and adequate representation. Our Kaduna State correspondent brings us update, and this report presented from our studio. Okoye says after a series of meetings with the Nigeria Police Force and the Directorate of State Services, all efforts to see their client, who is the spokesman and chief custodian of the movement, proves abortive.
Everybody knows that Sheikh Zakzaki is the leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria. He is their spokesperson and he is the custodian of their properties. So it is next to impossibility for us to make adequate and professional representation without having access to him.
The counsel to the Jamaatul Nasir Islam and Supreme Council of Nigeria says, hence, the Islamic movement in Nigeria is yet to file its memorandum. The commission should continue with the proceedings as there are over 100 memorandums sent by other groups and individuals.
What we are here to do is to find out the action or inaction of Jamaat al Islam, which led to this crisis, action or inaction, if any, of the movement of Islamic movement in Nigeria.
Chairman of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry, Justice Mohammed Lawal Garba, says the Commission is mindful of the fact that it has only 6 weeks to submit its report, adding that the task ahead of the Commission is crucial and is not limited to Kaduna State but the entire nation. Justice Garba therefore mandates the Council to the Commission, Attorney General of Kaduna State and Attorney General of the Federation to fast-track access to Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky and report back to the Commission in 7 days.
It is hereby directed that you should liaise with the Honorable Attorney General of Kaduna State and the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation for counsel for the Islamic movement to be allowed free access.
The public hearing by the Commission of Inquiry has been adjourned to Monday, 14th of March, as the instance of the Attorney General of Kaduna State and Minister of Justice to facilitate access to the leader of the IMN.
The proceedings are now adjourned to Monday, the 14th of this month, for you to report back on the access to the client by the Islamic Council for the Islamic Movement.
The Commission of Inquiry there granting access that members of the Shia see their leader, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. In other reports, the former Chief of Defense Staff, Air Marshal Alex Bade, is appearing before a federal high court in Abuja to face 10-count charge of money laundering preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Bade, while being docked, pleaded not guilty to the charges. The EFCC is prosecuting Bade and the firm, Yalikam Nigeria Limited, accusing them of fraudulently removing 3.97 billion naira from the account of the Nigerian Air Force in 2013. Our judiciary correspondent, Basil Okafo, has more.
After weeks of being in EFCC custody, the ex-chief of defense staff, Alex Bade, finally appeared in court on Monday to answer charges bordering on money laundering. Having pleaded not guilty to the charges preferred against him, prosecution counsel asked the court to remand the accused person in prison custody. But Bade's lawyer reminds the trial judge of the application he filed asking for his client to be admitted on bail. Justice Okon Abank, however, refused the application on the grounds that it was filed before the arraignment of the accused person.
The first accused person, Bade, has been arraigned formally before the court, and he has taken his plea of not guilty.
Justice Abank also in our ruling adjourned till March 14 for trial proper to start, warning that he will not entertain frivolous application for adjournment in the case. EFCC is prosecuting Bade and a firm, Yalikam Nigeria Limited, for fraudulently removing 3.97 billion naira from the account of the Nigerian Air Force in 2013.
Still on court matters, a federal high court in Abuja is to allow prosecution witnesses lined up by the federal government to testify behind a witness screen against the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The trial judge, Justice James Soho, made the order following the prosecution submission that the witnesses are expressing fear of possible attack by the supporters of Kanu. Defense counsel, however, objected, arguing that shielding of prosecution witnesses will not give his client a fair trial. But prosecution counsel is insisting that the use of screen would not prevent the judge, the accused persons and lawyers to the parties to see the witnesses while testifying. And in other news now, the court case on the extrajudicial killing of Comfort Idongesit by a police officer in September 2015 drags on as the accused is yet to appear in court, leading to the case being transferred to the Lagos State High Court. Its first hearing at the High Court is slated for the 25th of April 2016. Akin Obake brings us the report.
In a struggle to get justice, there is victory for us. Forward.
Left with 4 children to cater for and a huge loss to grieve over, the question remains, will justice be served for the Idongeset family? Especially as the accused again failed to appear before the magistrate court. Lead counsel to the applicant explains the day's proceedings.
And the proper venue for his arraignment is in the High Court of Lagos State. That is the first impression we want to correct. Then the second impression is that this court has to monitor the movement of the accused person to ensure that he's still in the prison custody.
Joe Oke Odumakin, a human rights activist, demands speedy justice for late Comfort Idongeset.
We stand firmly with Godwin Sunday Udo family. I want to assure that woman that lies still in the mortuary that she will get justice.
Dealing with the trauma is tough, hence the husband's plea for support.
I'm still expecting justice to be done as fast as possible. I'm still pleading with the Minister of Justice, please, and those that are in charge of this case, please, let justice be done.
Nigerians wait eagerly in the hope that if this case is taken to a logical conclusion, it will be a boost to efforts geared at putting a stop to incidences of extrajudicial killings. Akin Obake, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Justice for who? Justice for
Nigerians are calling on the federal government to re-strengthen the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission if it expects the ongoing anti-corruption war to be won. At a summit tagged Human Security, Violent Extremism and Radicalization, Seeking Sustainable Solutions in Abeokuta, political stakeholders expressed firm belief in the effort of the agency while urging more support for its crusade. Again, Akin Obake brings us more.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Established in 2003 as a law enforcement agency that investigates financial crimes such as advance fee fraud and money laundering, EFCC currently handles an increased number of high-profile cases. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, at the summit in commemoration of his 79th birthday, looks at how the EFCC has fared.
But what made the institution to become a toothless bulldog? What? And that's part of what we have to do. Keep working hard so that we don't take 2 steps forward, 1 step aside, and 3 steps back.
Concerned Nigerians, however, observe likely lapses that could undermine the efforts of the anti-graft agency unless it is urgently looked into.
I think agencies like ICPC and the FCC have, succeeded in bringing about that reorientation, and I think what we need to do is just to strengthen them and then ensure that we strengthen the law for them to be much more effective.
EFCC's former chairman, Nuhu Ribadu, also shares his thoughts.
Well, the government is doing well in terms of its own anti-corruption initiatives, and I will only wish them well and to continue the way they are going.
The agency is poised to fight the war against corruption. How effectively it does this will greatly depend on how proactively it avoids lapses so identified. Akin Obake, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Civil servants in Ogun State stayed away from their offices today, leaving the Okemoson, Abeokuta State Secretariat like a ghost town. In a statement, the General Secretary of the Joint National Public Service Negotiation Council, Comrade Olusegun Adebiyi, says the strike was necessitated by the non-payment of pensions and other entitlements. He disclosed that the state government had failed to respect the Memorandum of Understanding signed by state labor leaders, the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, and the state government on January the 25th this year. Activities in the state were grounded as state and local government workers and teachers stayed out of work. And now to Anambra State, where the governor, Willie Obiano, has commenced the process of weeding out ghost and fraudulent workers in the state. The exercise, which is in its first phase for all state government workers, would also involve teachers and local government staff in the subsequent phases. Inspecting the exercise in Awka, Governor Obiano disclosed that part of the process is the commencement of the verification of all civil servants in the state. The governor, however, appealed to workers to be patient, stressing that the life-changing sacrifice would also expose undeserving staff for the present month. And our workers of the Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company, under the aegis of National Union of Electricity Employees and Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies, have described the retrenchment of over 400 workers as illegal and unjustifiable. The workers are demanding that the distribution company be more transparent in its dealings with Nigerians. Sarah Ayeko reports.
The privatization of the power sector and consequent advent of distribution companies, DISCOs, continue to generate reactions from different stakeholders. Organized labor and civil society groups on Monday joined workers of the Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company to picket IKEDC over the sack of 400 workers.
That these companies, since they took over after privatization, they have decided to be labor unfriendly. What they practice here, anti-labor policies throughout. No respect for labor laws.
Where are we getting money with this hardship? We're having problem in Nigeria already. So it should stop that. It should be a foregone alternative. It is not time for that. So they should help us. They should increase supply of electricity.
The protesters also seek President Muhammadu Buhari's intervention in the power sector.
We want President Buhari to help us in this regard. For Nigerians to know the owner of these companies. These companies can't exist without an owner.
With power generation, distribution and regulation, Nigerians are left with the constant concern for what is really in the power sector reform for them. Sarah Ayuku, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Now, Makoko under Lagos mainland local government area has existed since the 18th century, but without enough infrastructure to cater for its 500,000 population. Efforts by past administrations, individuals and civil society groups over the years remain inadequate. Victoria Solomon files in this report presented from our studios.
Makoko has the torch of governance with good roads, one modern market, 3 primary schools, but no secondary school or healthcare center.
We have secondary school and health center. We want it from government because at Makoko our population is much, both Egun, Ilaje, Igbo and Yoruba.
We want government to assist us on these 3 things: secondary school, our medical care, and drainage of our canal. 4th one is to assist our child to be giving them job.
One reason the community wants to commemorate the Makoko Day is to showcase peaceful cohabitation between residents from different tribes.
One of the reasons is to showcase to the people that we are law-abiding people, one united day. Our motto is one mind, one love. So, and to let them know that no more hooliganism here.
Makoko Day holds Saturday, the 25th of March this year.
Reports there celebrating Makoko Day. In other news, residents of Ibafo have lived without electricity for well over 2 years, and unbelievable as it may sound, no significant social amenity exists in a community so close to the urban city of Lagos. By plan, it falls within Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. And like in most suburbs within the local government area, residents appear shortchanged of the promised dividend of democracy. Sarah Ayeko visits Ibafo and examines how residents are coping. Her report.
A major community on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo is one that has survived over the years with no electricity supply. Basic infrastructure, including good roads, pipe-borne water, hospitals and schools are simply lacking. Particularly lack of power supply has resulted in low economic activities, hence minimal income for residents and business owners.
We encounter challenges while working. We can no longer sew suet in Ibafo because we have to iron the material. The price of kerosene is high. Even the youth in the area are now commercial motorcyclists. Sooner or later, some might venture into armed robbery.
We have been trying our best. All the transformer we see here, it was a self-effort. We bought the transformer on our own, we bought the wires, we bought the posts. Government is not assisting us, it's not helping the stations.
This is Showo, which lies within the Ibafo Community Development Area, and every night, residents match with different sizes of kegs to scout for fuel to power their generating sets. The generality of Ibafo lacks other social amenities.
Even though we are in 2016, but here in Ibafo and suburb, we are living the year 1960.
Everywhere you turn in Asheshe, Magboro, Ibafo, and other suburbs in Obafemi Owode local government area in Ogun State, what you find is no electricity supply for the past 10 years. The people, the residents, the business owners are clamoring for the state government and even the federal government to find a lasting solution to this menace that bedevils them, that bedevils their lifestyle. Sarah Yeku, CoreTV News, Ogun State.
Still ahead on CoreTV Primetime News, the Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Abubakar Ali, involved in an auto accident. Details of this and other report after this break. Do join us again.
Mommy more, where would I be without you? Now you be my best friend, now you be my sister, now you be my mentor, and you are still my mama. Mama na kay nakatay, kibani doya de wake, mama no lazy. You help me reach my peak in my mind. Now you wash my infant head, oh, everything for you I go do, mama.
Show your sweet and caring mother how much she means to you. Celebrate her with the special Peak Packs. Peak, it's in you.
Are you aware that the death percentage attributed to Lassa fever cases is currently put at 43.2%, a figure considered very high? Lassa fever, an acute viral illness characterized by high fever, muscle aches, mouth ulcers and bleeding in the skin, is harbored by rats and spread to humans via the urine and droppings of rats. To prevent Lassa fever, avoid any exposure with rodents, rats, as well as food and objects contaminated with rat secretions and excretions. Report all suspected cases of Lassa fever immediately to the nearest healthcare institution. Help prevent Lassa fever. This message is from the federal government of Nigeria.
Glad to have you back, and if you're just joining us, you're watching CoreTV Primetime News. Now let's take another look at our top stories. For more on our top stories, all the news and information, kindly visit our social media platforms. Facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter @CoreTV News NG. And on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space news. The Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Abubakar Ali, has been involved in an auto accident along the Kaduna-Kano Expressway. A witness, Sinusu Abdul, said the incident occurred today in Dhaka Saleh town along the expressway, disclosing that the SUV he was traveling in had a head-on collision with a Toyota Avensis vehicle. The deputy governor was unhurt as its convoy continued its trip to Kano, though the Toyota car was badly damaged and its occupants were injured. The accident happened a day after the Minister of State for Labour, James Ocholi, his wife and son died in a crash along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. Members of the Federal Executive Council have been reacting to the death of late Minister of State for Labour, James Ocholi, alongside his wife and son, Sunday. They are describing the death as tragic. State House correspondent Abiola Oluwole has more on their reactions.
The news of his death alongside his wife and son filtered in on Sunday afternoon. James Ocholi was said to be returning from Kaduna when his car had an accident that claimed his life. Activities at the presidential villa was at the lowest ebb as journalists were seen discussing the death of the late junior Minister of Labour. According to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Godfrey Onyema, and the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, Ocholi's sudden death is a setback to his contribution to the national development.
It's a huge loss for the government because he really was a beautiful mind. His intellect was very sharp and his contributions were very sharp. And the government, in the challenges we're facing today,
there's a pall of grief over the place, and you can feel the soberness and somberness in the atmosphere. Everybody believes that this is a terrible tragedy.
They say official reports from relevant agencies will determine the true cause of the fatal accident.
Well, we can't jump to conclusion until maybe there is an official report, maybe from the Federal Road Safety Commission or whoever, because we can't say this is what caused the accident.
Born in 1960 in Dekina local government area of present Kogi State, James Ocholi was appointed as Minister of State for Labour by President Buhari on November 11, 2015. From the presidential villa in Abuja, Abiola Oluwole reporting for CoreTV News.
In a related development, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Ali Modu Sharif, has condoled the federal government and President Muhammadu Buhari on the tragic death of the Minister of State for Labour, James Ocholi, SAM, his wife and son in a car crash on Sunday. In a statement in Abuja by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Olisa Metu, the chairman said the sad development came as a huge shock to the party. He also commiserated with the minister's family and prayed that God would grant them the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Sharif also prayed to God to grant eternal repose to their souls. Now, the National Executive Committee of the People's Democratic Party says its national convention will come up in Port Harcourt on the 21st of May. Acting National Chairman of the party, Ali Modu Sharif, disclosed this at the end of the party's National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja. Correspondent Kozim Kasali has more in this report.
Flanked by former President of the Senate and current Deputy Senate President, Acting National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party says the National Executive Committee meeting of the party has agreed on the National Convention fixed for Port Harcourt on the 21st of May as effort to revamp the party continues.
We made resolutions on various aspects of our party. The NEC agreed that we will have a convention in Port Harcourt.
He says the party has also set up other committees to, among other things, reconcile aggrieved leaders of the party and bring them back into the fold. He added that a zoning committee has also been put in place to come up with an acceptable formula.
The NEC has agreed that the working committee, the chairman and members will set up all these committees.
But just as the party will pat itself on the back for a successful meeting, This set of people with their apparent brigandage almost turned the whole atmosphere upside down. Kazim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Now, election in Nigeria has been tagged a do-or-die affair as politicians jostle for power. In Rivers State, the reverse is not the case, as the spate of killings during and after election has been calling for the attention of concerned authorities. On our flagship program, Core Digest, this took the center stage as analysts shared their views on the issue, tasking government to take prompt action. Our correspondent has more.
Election in Nigeria has been characterized by one form of violence or the other. In Rivers State, the spate of killing as the state prepares for the run election has been generating reactions from Nigerians. On our flagship program Core Digest, analysts share their views.
There is a need to sensitize people continually. And if you do that, people will know their rights. They will know what to do during elections and things like that. They can liaise with the various agencies. You get little support from them and all that. So,
whether it's a Hausa Fulani, whether it's a Yoruba man, whether it's a South, whether it's a Delta man, whether it's a Port Harcourt, anybody that runs foul of our extant laws should be made to face the music.
Callers also have this to say.
This country has been mismanaged right from inception. The Southwest is defending their territories. The Southeast is defending their territories. The South is defending their territory.
I understand, issues are interlinked. Today, the issue is centered on the rivers of killing in Rivers State. So if you watch carefully, when the current governor was the minister,
it is the expectations of Nigerians that safety of lives and property will be secured as the state prepares for the run election come March the 19th in Rivers State.
All has been done by the Ekiti State chapter of the All Progressives Congress to bring party faithful together. One of such move is a sensitization program for the youth, organized by the Special Assistant to the President on Political Matters, Babafemi Ojudu. Rashid reports.
Around which you build an army of people.
Ekiti State of today is in constant political rivalry between the ruling People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress. In its quest to make its feet stronger and prepare ahead 2018 governorship elections, the opposition party seeks to galvanize the youth towards development through a sensitization program.
The Ekiti character is one of straightforwardness, straight talking, honesty, toughness and stubbornness. That's it.
Special Assistant to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Political Matters, Babafemi Ojudu, who organized the event, noted its timeliness for the development of Ekiti.
Most of them are unemployed. Meanwhile, their environment is filled up with things that could earn them good life. That thing that is absent from the formal education they acquire, either in the College of Education or in university, we want to give it to them so that they can move on with life.
It appears the APC is closing its rank in the hope of creating a formidable force to give the PDP political competition in the years ahead. Analysts, however, watch to see how this plays out. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Adejoke Orelope Adefulire as a Senior Special Assistant on Sustainable Development Goals. Orelope Adefulire served as Deputy Governor of Lagos State in the last administration of Babatunde Fashola and is an accomplished politician with many years of experience in public service. She has also served as Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in Lagos State. Still ahead now on the foreign scene, the U.S. military carries out a drone strike against an Al-Shabaab training camp. Details of this and other reports from outside Nigeria after this break. To stay with us.
Is it what crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters, that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute. I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has the right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back now to report from outside Nigeria. The United States military has carried out a drone strike against an Al-Shabaab training camp in Somalia, killing at least 150 fighters. The Pentagon said the strike occurred over the weekend in the camp, which is about 195 kilometers north of the capital, Mogadishu. Pentagon spokesman Captain Jeff Davis disclosed that the fighters were training for a large-scale attack. Davis said as many as 200 fighters were believed to be training at the camp, adding that the U.S. military had been monitoring for several weeks before the strike. Earlier on Monday, 6 people were wounded when a bomb planted inside a notebook computer exploded at an airport in the small central town of Beledweyne. And in other news, at least 45 people have been killed in clashes between security forces and armed men in a Tunisian city near the border with Libya. The Tunisian Interior Ministry says at least 28 attackers, 10 soldiers and 7 civilians were killed in Monday's gun battle in Ben Gadan. The attackers simultaneously targeted an army barracks and police post with heavy weaponry, including rocket-propelled grenades. Though the situation has calmed down, authorities have, however, implemented a curfew in the city, which would be between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. A security and military campaign began last week in Ben Gadan after Tunisian security officials said terrorist groups sneaked into the country. American doctors are working with local officials in Paribas to find possible link between Zika virus and microcephaly in babies. This collaboration is necessitated by a steep rise in the number of babies born with malformations in areas Brazil affected by the mosquito-borne Zika virus. There are more than 4,000 suspected cases of microcephaly, including less than 700 confirmed ones. Going from home to home in Paribas, in the country's northeast, doctors from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control are working round the clock with Brazilian health officials to find a possible link between the virus and microcephaly in babies. One of the doctors, Alex Harris, pointed out that there is need for an urgent answer to the crisis so as to effectively create public health awareness. Let's now talk sports.
Power style, and that's what he delivered.
Its AFCON qualifier clash against Egypt to be held in Kaduna later this month. Super Eagles coach Samson Siasia has called up 16 defenders to battle it out for shirt before their clash against the Pharaohs. The list is accompanied with a lot of speculations as to why certain players made the team and some did not. Top of the stack was the exclusion of Mainz defender Leon Balogun, who just 24 hours before the list was released, helped his Bundesliga side Mainz to a legendary away win against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. After a lot of protests from Nigerians, especially on social media, Siasia finally extended an invitation to the defender. Now, ex-Chelsea doctor Eva Canero has appeared at a tribunal hearing for her constructive dismissal case against the Premier League champions. Canero is suing Chelsea for breach of contract and constructive dismissal. Her lawyer, Mary O'Rourke QC, did not confirm if there had been any settlement and said the proceedings were confidential. Chelsea also refused to comment. The Premier League club filed their defense in the tribunal hearing in December. Canero was dropped from first-team duties after the then boss Mourinho criticized her and first-team physio John Ferran for going on to the pitch to treat Eden Hazard during the 2-2 draw with Swansea on the opening day of the season. And finally in sports at this time, fans of relegation threatened Newcastle United say in a strongly worded letter it is time for action and accountability, criticizing boss Steve McLaren and his players. The Magpies sit 19th in the Premier League with relegation in sight, with 10 games left to wrap up the season. The St. James Park Club's board today discussed the situation. Someone has to be accountable and decisions must be made, said the statement from the NUFC Fans Forum. What Newcastle fans want is a team of 11 players in black and white shirts that understands their role to perform to their maximum. We have entrusted the board of NUFC to ensure that the right personnel are in place to carry out this basic expectation. That's it on CoreTV Primetime News, but before we go, another look at our top stars. That's it on CoreTV Primetime News. Many thanks for joining us. I am Abosede Omowi.